Everybody, welcome to part two of the prank kit guide. And this part two is going to be focused on mainly doing combos, the essential combos that you're going to need to be able to master the prank kits, and also where to hit the deck if you're playing against it. But Zach will take over from here.
Hey guys, so we're gonna walk through some of the essential Prankins combos that everyone needs to know, especially if they're picking up the deck or they're returning to the deck. Some of the combos we're gonna run through are combos with just one kid plus polymerization, two kid combo, and then two kid plus poly combo. Um, I'm not gonna get into instant fusion combos because honestly, that's its whole other bag of worms. We're just gonna go through the essentials. Also, for the duration of combos, we're going to play as if Roxy's will always activate and resolve as normal. I'm not going to keep an extra card in my hand because I feel like that's going to get confusing. So here we go. We're going to start with Prank Kid's Place for our one kid combo, and we are going to search Roxy's. I like starting with Roxy's because it gives you a little bit more idea, and if you draw into something that would alter your combo, like a poly or a parallel exceed, you have it early in the combo. The only reason you wouldn't search Roxy's if you're trying to like purposely play around something like Droll, but if you're activating place, you were already getting Drolled anyways. So we're gonna normal summon Roxy's, link it away, assuming no hand traps. We're gonna go into Prank Kid's Meow Meow, activate Roxy's effect. We would banish a card from hand, draw a card, and then we're going to summon Fansies. I always like summoning Fansies into Doodle Doo because then if your Doodle Doo gets failured or you're impermed, you know then, and then you can send something off of Fansies to counteract that. So we're going to go Chainlink 1 Doodle, Chainlink 2 Fansies. Fansies is going to send the pranks and then summon either red or blue. Doodle will add Fusion. You can send pranks or place. I like having pranks every time I go turn one because the extra draw is so amazing in a deck that plays so many hand traps. So that's what I usually go for. If you already have a pranks in hand, then you can send something like place if you need it. If you already have pranks place, then you can send a second copy of Fusion. Now we're going to activate Doodle's Grave Effect, and we're going to add pranks to hand, and then any of the prank kids that we've already used. Then we're going to use pranks, discard Fansies, summon a token. Then we're going to link into another doodle. The reason we go into another doodle is so that we have absolutely the perfect send back with pranks, which I'll explain as we get there. We don't got to worry about it right now. Then we'll link into our Bow Wow Bark. Dropsies will give us 1,000 life points, and then we'll summon any kid we want. I like summoning either Roxy's or Fansies at the end of the combo. Because if they nib you, when you have Fansies, you have a 20/20 token. If they nib you while you have Roxy's, then you have a 35/15 token. I wouldn't summon Roxy's because I don't have another kid in hand. So I'm probably going to summon Fansies. Then you can set. And then during end phase, if they don't nib you, you always are going to shuffle back Roxy's, whatever kid you have on field or in hand. So in this case, Fansies. And then we're going to shuffle back the second Doodle Doo. The reason we don't shuffle back both Doodle Doos is because if you're forced to make a washer play, you want to end up summoning Bow Wow and a Doodle Doo. So that you can make rank 4 plays and you have a play starter for the next turn in Doodle Doo. You usually just want to keep one in grave. Plus, getting to send more prank kids back from graveyard to main deck means we have a better grind game. So we'd shuffle those back. We would shuffle and then draw a card. In this case, it was another kid, but it could be a hand trap. Stand by. You contribute the Bow Wow, add back whatever you need to hand. So in this case, we'll add back red and blue. And then during main phase, if they don't bait it out with the twisters or kill it with a feather duster, you'll just make Butler using red, blue, and green. The main issue I see here, especially with a bunch of newer players, is they'll make Butler absolutely as soon as they can. You probably shouldn't do it. Don't make Butler until you're ready to use its effect, because then you can use its effect as Chainlink 5, and you don't have to worry as much about something like a straight Imperm or a Dark Ruler No More coming down. They might still Dark Ruler you, but at least you'll get one use out of the Butler. Cool. So that is the 1-card combo. And other 1-card combos, they'll go into something like sorry, I'm trying to multitask right here. Other 1-card combos will go into Rocket Ride. I don't think Rocket Ride is a correct play because when you go into the Rocket Ride play, you don't really get anything out of it, and it loses to Bell way harder. That combo won't lose to Bell as hard, and if your fusion gets negated, it's not stuck in graveyard as much. In that combo, you don't have to burn the fusion, which means it's perfectly fine for a Poly or Pandemonium turn play next turn, or instant fusion. So this combo is going to be our 1-kid plus polymerization combo. This is an instance where you're not going to start with polymerization because you don't have the necessary materials, but it's actually going to function as an extender. In this case, polymerization gets you an XC monster that you wouldn't normally have if you just had 1-kid combo. In this case, it should end on Butler setup, which is going to consist of Bow Wow Bark, making the necessary materials for Butler, plus a Pandemonium. And then also, you can have an XC monster being any rank from 1 to 4. The popular choice here is totally awesome, so that's what I'm going to play for y'all today. We're going to normal summon Fansies, send Fansies to grave, summon Meow Meow. Activate Fansies, send our Pranks. Summoning our blue. The important part about this combo is whatever rank monster you want to go into, you need to burn up that monster early in the combo. It can't be your last card or your last kid to be activated. So, for example, I'm going for the totally awesome play, which means I need to use Dropsies as either my first, second, or third prank kid effect. I can't use it as the fourth one. Now we're going to go in a Doodle. Chainlink 1 Doodle, Chainlink 2 Dropsies. Dropsies summons Fire. And then Doodle's going to add to hand. Yes, I already know that we have a fusion spell in hand, but one of them is our extender for Xyz. The other one's going to be for Butler purposes. Now we're going to activate Doodle. We're going to add back Pranks, and then we're going to add back any kid. Most of the time, I hate adding back green because for some reason, people always DD Crow green. I don't know why, but they just like DD Crowing green. Now we're going to activate our polymerization, and we're going to send our kids to grave to summon our Rocket Ride. Now we're going to activate our third kid effect as Chainlink 1, and our Rocket Ride is Chainlink 2. We get to use Rocket Ride on the first turn because its effect deals with its attack point stat, not only the attacking directly part. If it was only that you could attack directly, then you wouldn't be able to chain block. But since it says lower the attack, you get to use it. So Chainlink 2 Rocket Ride will resolve, and then our third kid will resolve, summoning our fourth kid. Then we're going to activate Rocket Ride's effect, summoning whatever kid we need for an XC material and anything else. This case, we're going for Toad, so we need to summon back a Dropsies. Then we're going to link these into Bow Wow Bark. And then our last kid is going to summon a second copy of Dropsies. These will overlay into Totally Awesome. We will activate Pranks, and then we will set the Pandemonium. Oh, okay. So In this case, you wouldn't have Butler combo if you went for something like Dweller, because Dweller doesn't add back a prank kid like Totally Awesome does. You would just need another kid in hand for that to be stable. One kid poly combo, you're probably almost always going to want to go for Totally Awesome anyways, though. And don't forget Totally Awesome's effect to add a water monster back, because you will need to add back Dropsies. So before you activate Fusion, be sure to activate Totally Awesome. That way, you get your third material. Our prank shuffle back for this turn is going to be Roxy's, because we're always sending back Roxy's. Rocket Ride, so that we have it for later turns, and then our Doodle Doo. Even though we'd want Doodle Doo in Graveyard for something like a Washer play, we need these two kids added back more, and then we also need the Meow Meow so that our Butler can Raigeki twice. Raigeki once is just not near as broken. And then you would draw off pranks. This case, it's a Roxy's. Cool. And then standby, shotgun the Bow Wow so it doesn't get Dark Roll or no more Kaiju. Main phase, negate the first power card, and then you have Butler ready. Cool. So now we're going to go on to our third combo. Our third combo is going to be any two kids in the deck. In this case, I'll use red and yellow. So there's two variations for this combo. You can do standard one kid combo, and then you won't have to summon anything to the field. So let me grab that field real quick to show you. So your field would look something like this. You'd have more prank kids loaded up, of course. But you wouldn't need to summon the last kid since you already have you already have one of the three materials in hand, and then this would add back green and blue. You would go for this play if you have something like Gamma in hand. So if you have two prank kids cards in hand, you can do full combo and still have an open line for Gamma, because you'll standby phase, shoot off the Bow Wow Bark, you'd add back green and blue, and then you have no monsters so that you are able to Gamma. This works really well, especially if you think your opponent has a Bell in hand, because you can tribute off Bow Wow Bark, they'll activate Bell, and then you can activate Gamma to protect the Bow Wow Bark. That's usually the more utility play, I guess, for two kids in hand. But today I'm going to show y'all the swing for the fence combo. This is known as the Roaster Butler combo, which basically gives you 3 board wipes. The only problem is it plays into Nibiru super hard. If you're playing against someone who probably doesn't have Nibiru, go for this combo. You cannot lose the game. It's probably impossible to lose the game. So here we go. Any two kids. We're going to normal Roxy's. In this case, kid 1. We'll go for Meow Meow. And then we're going to summon Fansies. Link into Doodle. Doodle Chainlink 1, Fansies Chainlink 2. Fansies is going to send. And then summon back the kid that we don't have in hand. Doodle is going to add back, or is going to add Fusion. This is where it heavily strays from every other combo. We're going to activate Pandemonium. We're going to fuse both the colors we haven't used yet. We're going to Rocket Ride, and we're going to place it right here. Both the kids will activate, so we'll have Lampsies Chainlink 1, Dropsies Chainlink 2, Rocket Ride Chainlink 3. They cannot ash you at this moment. You can summon any two kids. I usually just summon these because they're high attack. You can also summon a Fansies. That way, if you get nibbed here, you have some defense on the token. In fact, Fansies and a Roxy is probably best. That way, you have a 35 defense token. This is usually where you get nibbed in the combo, it's incorrect to nib here, but people will usually do it here. Then you'll link these two into Bow Wow Bark. And this is the point where your opponent should nib you. If they don't nib here, they probably don't have nib at all. So you're probably in the clear. This is also the combo that we're going to do for OTK. If you look right now, if your opponent had no monsters on board, this is actually OTK because they're going to take 500 off of Lampsies. They'll take 2,000 off the Doodle Doo. They'll take 2,000 off the Bow Wow Bark, and then if you didn't chain block the Rocket Ride, it's 3,000. That adds up to 75, and then you would burn for the last 500 with Lampsies. Or if you had a Prank Kids Place on the field, then you would have enough requisite damage to be perfectly fine. Anyways, going off the OTK path, back to our turn 1 combo. You will link these off for Roaster. This is the only time Roaster will ever come up in a organized combo. So keep that in mind. You're almost never using it for combo. It's always an option, except for if you want to play this. Then you'll activate Rocket Ride effect, and you're going to special summon Doodle and Bow Wow Bark. Because Rocket Ride's broken like that. Then you'll activate Doodle, and you'll add back Fusion and a name. And then on the opponent's turn, you can activate Bow Wow Bark effect, add the names you already have in hand, or that you need in hand, use them to graveyard, and summon your Battle Butler. I'm not going to summon the kids off their effects, but of course you would resolve them and summon something like Double Drop Season something else, so you can make a Toad play next turn. But here's your 3 board wipes. You have 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Raigeki, and then the Meow Meow in Graveyard allows you to do another one of either of those. So if you're playing against something like Sky Striker, you might do double Feather Duster. If you're playing something against like Dragon Link, you might go for double Raigeki. Ta-da! So that was the second turn OTK combo, or the what's it called? The triple board wipe combo. Both are essential for this deck. They just play into Nibiru very hard. Last up, we have 2 essential combos that have came up very recently with the addition of Poly back in the deck. Poly is probably one of the harder cards to learn for combos in this deck because it just adds so many options. So in this case, we're going to have 2 kids plus Poly. This one, we're going to do the Toad on the 4th summon. That way you can play around Nibiru. So this is Nibiru proof full combo. You're going to activate Poly, fuse away both your cards, go into Rocket Ride. That'll be summon 1. Both the kids will activate, so Chain Link 1, 2, Rocket Ride 3. Then you will summon double Dropsies. Fansies in this case can either send either a name or a fusion spell. In this case, I'll just send a name. Now you'll overlay into Totally Awesome on your 4th summon. Now from here, you just try to get back to standard combo as much as you can. If you had Fansies and you send a name, you'll summon the name. If you sent Fusion Spell or you didn't open a Fansies, then I'll show you what to do. Now you'll make Doodle. Okay, here's the thing. If you didn't send a name to summon back with Rocket Ride, then you would add place to grab a name and then normal it. If you did send a name and special summon off of Rocket Ride, you'll activate Rocket Ride, or you'll activate the new kids effect along with Doodle 2. So in this case, Doodle do 1, Lampsies 2. Lampsies will summon. Hello, DB. There we go. Blue, because we still haven't used the blue effect yet. And then Doodle will add Fusion Spell. Now we'll link into Babble Bark. Blue's effect will summon one from deck. JK, not that one. Summon any of the 3 primary colors from deck. And then you'll have Babble Bark to add the other materials. So on the opponent's turn, activate Babble Bark, add what you need. And this one, you don't have to shotgun the Totally Awesome, so you can hold it for literally anything. And then this should be Butler plus Toad through Nibiru. Or at least it's there in case of Nibiru. Okay. Very last combo. I know Yada's just been sitting listening to me for a while. This poor man.
I'm loving it.
You poor thing. I'm not saying you're delusional, but wanting to listen to my voice for this long might make you delusional. Okay, so this is the Granddaddy Wombo combo of them all. You will never go for it if you even like think a Nibiru is going to happen. But if you're going against like a rogue player that might not have it, go for it because it's kind of money. This is Poly plus any 2 kids. Same conditions as our last one. So here we go. We're going to Poly 2 kids away. Summon the Rocket Ride. These kids will each summon a kid that you have not used yet. So in this case, we used blue and yellow, so we'll summon red and green. Then you use Rocket Ride effect, summon everything back, and this is where you get Nibiru'd and you hate life. Oh well. Now you'll make Doodle. You'll do Chainlink 1 Doodle, Chainlink 2, 1 kid, Chainlink 3, another kid. So then you'll summon back, or off these kids, you will summon Exceed material monsters. So in our case, we're going to make Totally Awesome and Abyss Dweller while having Butler. So Doodle Doo will add Pandemonium to hand. Now we can tribute off the Doodle Doo. Add these cards to hand. And now we get to Exceed. Ta-da! So now you have an Abyss Dweller, a Totally Awesome, and then it's Butler setup because as soon as you activate the Toad, Toad will add the water to hand, and you can make Butler. This is one of those combos where it's reliant to use the Toad, but I don't know any meta deck that's going to bust through Toad, Dweller, and double Raigeki with the Butler. Side note real quick as I notice it, definitely use a Meow Meow in your combo. You would go into Meow Meow like right before the Doodle, so nothing crazy, but definitely just remember that. And that's it for the combos. If you have any questions, go ahead, leave them in the comments of the video. I know some people were curious about Parallel Exceed. Parallel Exceed, most of the time in the deck is just make a Abyss Dweller, so I didn't want to go through any combos that use it because they're just normal combos. Unless you're going to go for like turn 2 access code or something. So that's why I didn't include it. a note about Paralog Seed, like if you use it, don't summon from deck. That way you can get your Doodle summon out on the 5th summon or beforehand to get some resources. And then if you still want to make Abyss Dweller, summon Roxy's under your Bowwell Bark and use that to make Abyss Dweller. But yeah, that's it for our essential combos. I'm sure there's plenty more combos that exist out there, and I'm sure there's plenty more combo lines that you can do. I'm going to send Yada a link to a Google Drive file. It is a super extensive document that covers just about every Prank Kids combo that exists right now. It includes lines for one kid plus instant fusion plus pranks plus another kid, literally everything. It even includes ultra polymerization combos. Not that I recommend using ultra polymerization, but some people like it for some reason. So that'll be in the description of the video. Make sure to check it out. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be monitoring it so I can answer any of your questions, especially if you have a question on like, when should I Ash, when should I Bell, when should I Nib, etc. Special thanks to Yada for having me out on the channel. Thank you so much for letting me go through Prank Kids, and I'm glad we got to have some fun today.
Thank you, Zach. Have a nice day.
Oh, wait, real quick.
Okay.
Shout outs to Team Brothers, aka the Red, White, and Goo. Members include Christian Griffin, the Drytron Master, and David, the Virtual World player. Shout out to the boys at GM, Max, Victor, Gio, Yada. Let's go. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Pedro. And shout out to my apprentice, Zachy. I see what you're doing with the deck. You're kind of nice. You're almost as good as me. I'm sure you'll probably beat me next time we play. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Good night, people. Good night.